Hello Game Boys and Game Girls, I'm the Game Boy Guru and welcome to the my latest video of new arrivals. And I've decided I'm going to start titling these Zag Box because my buddy Zagnorch is always feverishly hunting for games and fun stuff and texts me pretty frequently about stuff that he finds and asks if it's stuff I want. And naturally, as a major sucker, W.C. Fields said there's one born every minute, and I guess I was one of them. So I decided to go for most of the stuff that he grabs for me. And so anyway, this is the latest box of stuff that Zagnorch got for me. So the Zag Box, or as he liked to say, little Norch on the porch, which is great. So anyway, this is the latest batch of stuff that he picked up for me. So let's take a look at what we got. So first, and quite possibly the most important item in the box, is this giant Slurpee straw that he got for me. This is hilarious and awesome, and I told him the other day I haven't had a Slurpee in years, but just because he bought this for me, I may have to go and get one this weekend when I'm out. This was a cool item that he picked up. This is a V-screen. It's a PSP screen. What's interesting about this is it kind of reminds me of things like the Handy Boy for the Game Boy that you could use to sort of magnify the screen and add lighting and things like that. PSP obviously is backlit, so it doesn't require that, but it's kind of an interesting deal. I'm going to have to play with that and see whether or not it brings any kind of enhancement to the experience, or if it just makes the PSP large and unwieldy. But it does say that it will work with all models, the 1000, 2000, 3000, and the Slim. So I've got a 2000 and a 3000 that I may play around with and see how that feels. So that's kind of a cool item. This was exciting to see. An EA Sports gamepad for the GameCube, or excuse me, not the GameCube, the N64. Very cool that it's in the box, and so that's always fun to see items like this still in the box. Kind of like I picked up a Saturn 3D controller, 3D control pad here about a year and a half or so ago from an independent game store, and it was complete in the box. And so I picked it up. Looked like it had never been used. This looks like it probably has never been used as well. It's still got the little pad on there, and it's still fresh in the plastic and has some stuff inside. So very cool to find this. Of course, I got that super pad here a few weeks ago that I think will probably be my preferred way to play, but given the fact that this particular controller looks like it's unused and basically untainted, and the analog stick has not been damaged through too many Mario Party sessions, this will be a good alternative and probably a comfy way to get a little bit of N64 action in. So cool to have that. Oh, let's see here. He sent me all kinds of cool stuff. He included some sour gummy worms for me. How very nice. This was a fun item that I remember him texting me about. A Pelican PlayStation, I believe PlayStation 2 probably, joystick. I have another PS1, PS2 compatible stick that I've bought about a year and a half or 2 years ago while I was out traveling. But this is kind of a nice little stick. It's got decent action on the stick. It's not arcade quality, but decent buttons, sort of clicky. So we'll see what that's like. But I might have to break out some Tekken 3 and mess around with that. Tekken 3 or Darkstalkers 3 or something like that. Give that a whirl. And there's also this interesting PlayStation folder thing. Just kind of a neat item, probably something that somebody picked up at a convention or a thing like that. And inside, he told me about this, is a Dragon's Crown art book. And so it's hardcover, pretty cool. Looks like it's in good shape. This is a neat piece, lots of cool art. It's a Japanese book, but you know, I don't necessarily need to read the words, but really cool artwork. You know, lots of good stuff there from Vanillaware, I think is who developed it, and Atlas published. But pretty cool stuff. Let's see here. This is wrapped up pretty tight, but we'll go ahead and tear into that. And I will say immediately that owning this doesn't mean I have to give up my man card, but it is a pearl pink DualShock 3 6-axis PlayStation 3 controller. Pretty cool. I have 3 standard sort of dark gray or black controllers between the 2 PS3s that I own. So kind of cool to have this other one that I can use for player 4 if ever I have 4 people over to play those games. Not sure I've got any 4-player PlayStation 3 games. I'm sure I probably do. Alright, here is World Championship Poker for the Game Boy Advance. And I do believe he said this was complete, if memory serves. Yep, it's got the little cardboard spacer, cart in there, manual, and little Nintendo Power booklet in the back. So kind of cool to have that. Not a game I'll probably put much time into, but fun piece nonetheless. Complete in box Game Boy Advance and those kinds of games are getting a little bit, I don't want to say more rare, but harder to find cheap in the wild. So fun to get those when you can. Alrighty, lots of tape here. Okay, so we got the infamously bad Kane and Lynch, Dead Men. And so that'll be fun to kind of play around with and see if it's as bad as the reviews all made it out to be. Bad games can be fun to play, just like watching bad movies, as long as you know they're really bad and you go in with low or no expectations. Got Bulletstorm Limited Edition. I didn't have Bulletstorm yet, but I've heard that this is a pretty good game. I know it recently got re-released for, I want to say, PS4 and Xbox One in sort of a remaster, but honestly, this is great. So always enjoy cool stuff like that. Alright, we got another item wrapped up pretty tightly here. Oh yes, I remember getting this text, and this is the Guitar Hero box set for the Nintendo DS. It's Guitar Hero on Tour and Guitar Hero on Tour Decades. And 2 complete Guitar Hero games for the DS, and it comes with the this is a Game Boy Advance cartridge that I believe is probably the extension for the hardware, and then you get the DS games themselves, On Tour and On Tour Decades, and then you get the manuals for those. I think it's, yeah, manuals for both. A little overlay for the little control piece. And speaking of which, that is right here, wrapped up nicely. So the nice little control piece that Looks like it. Oh, and then a pick. How fun. A little pick that you can use to probably for the, it's got a stylus on it for the touchscreen, so that's kind of a cool thing. But I'm guessing that this Game Boy Advance thing plugs into the bottom of the DS, and there's two of them here, so I'm assuming one of them is probably dependent on which model of DS you have, whether you've got the original heavy DS or the DS Lite, as to how far you have to stick the cartridge in order to make contact. So that's kind of cool that they give that. And then of course your 4 buttons here for your tunes. So very cool item. Awesome to have that. I really enjoyed the Guitar Hero games on the PlayStation 2 and have quite a collection of them now. And also kind of messed with, it was a Rock Band something or other for PSP. And anyway, pretty cool stuff. So I will look forward to messing around with that when I get some time to do so. So awesome to have that. All right, so let's move on to some DS stuff here. Got a whole stack of it. Actually, a couple stacks by the time I get all of it out. Whew, okay. So we got World Spelling Championship. We've got Wizards of Waverly Place, which I watched a fair amount of a number of years ago, being a foster parent. You watch these shows whether you want to or not. We got Tinkerbell and the Lost Treasure. Watched a Tinkerbell movie a number of years ago, many more times than I wanted to. Spectrobes, which I heard of but had never played, don't really know much about. Looks like it's either an RPG or possibly just a head-to-head battle game. Mr. Driller, Drill Spirits, that's pretty cool. I don't have any of the Mr. Driller games yet, but I kind of like this style, and so I think I'll have some fun with that. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, and this is from, let's see, what year did this come out? 2009. I've got the Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games for the Wii U, sitting back on the shelf there, and of course I have the full box with the blue controller and everything, that the blue Wiimote and that came with it. But so this will be interesting to play and compare that. This is Margot's Word Brain. I don't know who Margot is, but I like word puzzles and things like that, so that should be fun. We got Imagine Fashion Designer New York. Yep, that's a thing. Got I Spy Funhouse. We got Hannah Montana Music Jam, and yes, I also watched a lot of Hannah Montana back in the day. Got Epic Mickey Power of Illusion, and this looks interesting. It looks like a bit of a throwback to the Castle of Illusion, World of Illusion games, and I think that is what they were alluding to with the title. And anyway, this might be kind of fun to mess around with, so since I now have that 2DS, I'll be able to give this one a whirl. We got Dungeon Explorer, Warriors of Ancient Arts, and I do believe I own the PSP equivalent to this, or something that kind of came out around the same time in the Dungeon Explorer series. So very cool. Oh, and that's right. He told me some of these have, this one has a thick manual. Some of these have Game Boy Advance games in them. I should double check here. Some of these cases, he also included some loose GBA games, such as Top Gear GT Championship. Make sure I don't forget to check all these out. all of these games, everything in this stack is complete. That's how I roll, and that's how Zagnorch rolls on these things. Got Frogger's Adventures, Temple of the Frog. No relation to the former Pearl Jam or pre-Pearl Jam project, Temple of the Dog. Let's see here. Guess I'll just check on this one's still sealed, so we're good there. He got me Drawn to Life SpongeBob SquarePants. So that is my third Drawn to Life game now. Crossword DS. Clever little wordplay there, as one might expect. Got Brain Boost Beta Wave, and again, I like these sort of brainy puzzle games, so I'll be able to get some fun with that. And he also got me Brain Age, and I had Brain Age 2 that I found, so now I've got the original as well. So cool to have all of those. That really expands my DS collection, excuse me, by quite a margin. Let's see, we got a number of console games here. Some PS2 stuff. Got Time Crisis 2. And one of these days I need to get me a PS2 compatible light gun. We got Rocky Legends. Be curious to see how this plays. Looks like you can play against several opponents. You can play against Apollo Creed. Oh, here we go. Play as Rocky Balboa, Apollo Creed, Clubber Lang, or Ivan Drago. All right. We got Intellivision Lives. Very cool. And Harvest Moon, Save the Homeland, which I didn't have already. So that is the PlayStation 2. Also got Army Men 3D for the original PlayStation. Very cool. Some Xbox games here. We got Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. Finally, I have KOTOR 2. Got Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Platinum Hits. Very cool to have that. Got Destroy All Humans. And so now I've got the first two games there. Dead to Rights, which I've had on PS2 for a while, but awesome to have the Xbox version. And the Atari Anthology, which has a large collection of 2600 games and also some Atari arcade games, such as Asteroids and Centipede. Got some Wii games here. We got WarioWare Smooth Moves. Awesome to have that. Super Paper Mario, which I'm stoked to have because I've had a copy of this that I bought at GameStop a number of years ago, and it was just a plain Jane generic copy with literally just a case and the game with generic printed artwork. So I've already told my younger brother that I'm going to give that to him for his kids to use on their Wii now that I have a complete copy. Got Super Monkey Ball Banana Blitz, Mercury Meltdown Revolution, and just one more of the games that for some reason saw a release on here and also on the PSP. And a game that I think I've seen out in the wild before, but it's called Elabits, and I don't really know anything about it, but it looks interesting, so I'll give it a whirl. And then also a couple of GameCube games and a couple of 360 games. So we got Worms Blast. Not real big on the Worms games, but we'll give that one a try. Also got Geist, which I've heard good and bad things about. I guess there's some cool stuff about it, but maybe it's got some control issues or something like that. I don't know. But I'll check it out. Also got Condemned 2 Bloodshot. And 99 Nights, which I think looks pretty cool. It's action RPG maybe, or well, whatever. Looks cool. As always, there's a bunch of PSP games. So we've got Major League Baseball 2K11, MLB The Show, or MLB 10 The Show. I think that's my third MLB The Show game. Indiana Jones and the Staff of Kings. Got that on PS2 as well. House of Flying Daggers UMD movie. Kind of cool to have that. Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law. That's actually pretty exciting because I grew up watching the Birdman cartoons and reruns. So that'll be fun to kind of see that. Hard Rock Casino. FIFA 06 Soccer. I think that's my second FIFA game. And Brunswick Pro Bowling. Be interesting to see how a bowling game plays on the PSP. Also got a European release of Tiger Woods PGA Tour 09. And then also Major League Baseball 2K12. Couple more things in here. Looks like I'm gonna open this up. Oh yes, some Atari cards. Lovely Atari games. Always good to see these. So some good 2600 action here. We got Adventure. So I finally have a copy of Adventure on the 2600. Qbert. Cool to have that. Finally have Space Invaders. Got Solaris. And I also got Star Master. Sword Quest Fireworld. And finally one ColecoVision game, Cosmic Avenger. So grow the ColecoVision collection ever so slightly. And oh, that's right, I got a couple of, forgot about this, a couple of loose SMS games as well. I don't have a Sega Master System yet, but I do have the Power Base converter for a Genesis. And so I got Thunderblade and Altered Beast. And I don't know if the SMS conversion of Altered Beast is atrocious or not. I know the Golden Axe version is terrible, but I'll have to check that one out and compare, because I actually really like the Genesis version of Altered Beast. Even though it's not an objectively fantastic game, it's still fun to play. And one final special item in here that he picked up for me, and that is an actual animation cell replica from the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon show. Of course, this being April O'Neil here. Let's see if it says on the back. Cowabunga Dudes and Dudettes. I'm not sure if it actually says which episode this is from, unless that's the name of the deal. But it's got a certificate of authenticity in there, and pretty cool to have this. I grew up watching the TMNT cartoon, and as some of you have seen through many of my videos, I've got at least 2 TMNT cartoon-themed t-shirts that I've worn in multiple videos, and big fan of the original cartoon and also the first couple of movies. The first one being the best. It still holds up pretty well. The second one's not quite as good. The third film, we don't speak of the third film. No, it doesn't exist. So yeah, anyway, that's all that I have in today's arrival from Zagnorch. Once again, thank you. Many thanks for the Norch on the Porch, Zag Box full of stuff, and always great to get a box full of goodies to go through and to catalog and to get excited about. So anyway, I'm definitely going to be looking forward to checking some of this stuff out, and yeah, it's going to be awesome. So anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Thanks for playing, and game on.